Hello again, this is Doug the 2 Minute Gardener. It's spring and everybody's cruising around. Snakes, rabbits, gophers, everything. So I'm going to talk about how to secure your yard against those rabbits, gophers, snakes, etc. So it's always tricky sometimes because with snakes, especially rattlesnakes here in Southern California, you just can't see them. So you're worried about them getting in. But also rabbits sneak into a garden, and even gophers can sneak in from below unless you have a dog like my Ginger there who likes to take care of our gophers. But if you have a big old garden like this, how do you secure it against all those critters? You do it with what I call gopher mesh. Now, this is a wonderful product. It's also known as hardware cloth. And you use it to secure the perimeter. Now, you can also use it to secure the ground against the gophers. If you're laying down mulch, lay this stuff down first, and this will discourage the gophers from going up through the garden. So this particular client had a large backyard farm, had all kinds of fun things like tomatoes, boysenberries, fruit trees, fig trees, all kinds of really great things. But unfortunately, they butted up against a natural canyon. And of course, in a natural canyon, you have lots of rats living there. And the rats cruise in and they attract the snakes as well. So what we did is we secured the perimeter using this gopher mesh, aka hardware cloth. Now, the really important part about installing this is you have to dig a trench, because the other issue you have is gophers obviously like to dig down. In Southern California, our soil is so tough, they generally will only dig about 12, maybe 16 inches down. So it's important to dig a trench at least 18 inches to install the gopher mesh against the fence. Now, it's important that you have some kind of support mechanism. A chain link fence works great for this kind of thing. So what they have here, these are 4-foot rolls. So they buried about 20 inches below grade along the fence, and now they're securing it with the baling wire. So you first lay that bottom layer down, drop it in the trench, secure it with the baling wire. Now, baling wire is also a very tough galvanized tying mechanism. It will last a long time, even exposed to the elements, and that's what it's designed for. It's designed to hold rebar together, so it's a very tough piece of material. And it's important because the baling wire is easy to use as far as being pliable, easy to cut with wire cutters, as you see these guys doing here, and you secure it to the fence. And again, bury that bottom 18 to 24 inches down there to really discourage the gophers. Now, if you live someplace where the soil is looser, the gophers can go farther south than that. There are some places like in Africa where the gophers will go 3 to 4 feet down. But you have to kind of know your soil. Here in Southern California, basically, when we were digging this trench, we only saw gopher tunnels at the top 6 inches of the soil. So we felt pretty confident burying this would secure it against the gophers. Now, the other important thing is if you secure it against the gophers, you also secure it against the rats. The rats are not going to be able to get under this because it's now buried. So again, you tie it in with the baling wire, and then you go along and start burying that trench back in, and making sure when you throw that soil in to also stomp on it and compact it. Make sure everything is nice and compact. By the way, when the guys were clearing all the weeds away from this fence, they actually did find a rattlesnake and ran into that. So that was a little scary for the guys, and they took care of it. They unfortunately had to kill it because there was no way to get it out of that canyon safely. They didn't have any tools to relocate a rattlesnake, as I've shown in last week's video. So always got to be careful when you're working around weeds and stuff this time of year that you might have a snake cruising around. All right, once they laid the bottom course, put all the dirt back in, now it's time to do another layer, because some big rattlesnakes can get 4 or 5 feet long and they can go up a 3-foot fence. So it's important that you do two things. You're overlapping the bottom layer, which really discourages those little snakes from getting through, and all kinds of other little critters, but also go up 4 feet. So the top of this fence is actually 4 feet above the ground, this gopher mesh that we've attached to the snake fence. By the way, that was one example. Here's another example of the same process. They buried it about 18 inches and then attached it to an existing wood fence. And from a distance, you can barely tell that it's actually there, but it's important to do it. This was a brand new project. We just planted 12 fruit trees, and it was important to secure it against rattlesnakes that could come up and follow the rats in the future. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. And again, I hope you enjoyed it and got lots of value from it. This is Doug, the 2-Minute Gardener, saying thanks so much for watching.